August 1986, Yugoslavia. A routine filming day that would change everything. The cameras were rolling on the set of Armor of God when Jackie Chan prepared for what seemed like a simple jump. From a castle wall to a tree branch, then down to solid ground. He had done far more dangerous stunts. This was supposed to be easy. But in the next 15 seconds, the world's most fearless stuntman would find himself bleeding from his skull, his brain exposed, hovering between life and death. Nobody saw it coming, not the crew, not the director, not even Jackie himself. The branch cracked, time slowed. His body fell 15 meters, and his head struck a rock with a sickening thud that echoed through the medieval fortress. Blood pooled instantly. His skull had cracked open like an eggshell. A piece of bone the size of a coin had driven into his brain. The crew stood frozen, watching their star convulsing on the ground, certain they were witnessing his final moments. But this wasn't Jackie Chan's first brush with death. It wouldn't be his last. Hong Kong, 1960, the China Drama Academy. Long before the blood and broken bones, there was a small boy named Chan Kong Sang, crying in a dormitory room. His father had just sold him, not metaphorically. Actually sold him for 7 years to Master Yu Jim Yuan's Peking Opera School, a place where childhood went to die and warriors were forged through torture. The contract was brutal. Master Yu could beat him, starve him, work him 20 hours a day, and he did. Jackie was 6 years old when the beatings began. Bamboo canes across the back until the skin split, forced splits that tore muscles. No food if you made mistakes. Sleep was a luxury earned through pain. When I think about those days, I still feel the cane on my back, Jackie would later confess. But he never cried in front of Master Yu. Crying meant more punishment. Weakness meant you didn't eat. So he became strong. Impossibly strong for a child. By age 8, Jackie could do backflips off walls. His body was a weapon he'd learned to control through endless repetition and merciless discipline. He was part of the 7 Little Fortunes, the best students who performed acrobatic opera shows that stunned audiences. But behind the applause was blood, sweat, and a childhood stolen by tradition and ambition. His father worked as a cook at the Australian embassy. His mother was a housekeeper. They were poor, and Jackie was a burden they couldn't afford. The opera school was meant to give him a future. Instead, it gave him scars that never fully healed. Yet something extraordinary was being built inside that broken child. While other students broke under the pressure, Jackie absorbed it. Every beating taught him how to fall. Every injury showed him his body's limits, and how to push past them. The pain became normal. Fear became something he could control. By the time he was 12, he could take a punch that would hospitalize an adult and keep performing. Master Yu was creating something the world had never seen, a human being with no fear of physical consequences. Hong Kong, 1971. The opera was dying. Television had killed traditional performance arts. Jackie was 17, muscular, impossibly skilled, and completely unemployed. The only industry hiring people who could flip off buildings was cinema. Bruce Lee had just become an international sensation with the big boss. Every studio in Hong Kong wanted the next Bruce Lee. They tried to make Jackie that person. They failed spectacularly. His first starring role was Little Tiger of Canton in 1973. It bombed. Then, New Fist of Fury in 1976, positioning him as Bruce Lee's successor after Lee's tragic death. Another disaster. Jackie was trying to copy Lee's serious, powerful style, but it wasn't him. He wasn't a fierce dragon. He was something else entirely, something the industry hadn't seen yet. The failures crushed him. He was being compared to a legend and losing every time. Studio executives called him box office poison. Directors said he had no screen presence. Critics said he should quit acting and stick to stunt work. Jackie was broke, depressed, and convinced his dream was over. Then director Yuan Wu Ping saw something different. Stop trying to be Bruce Lee. Ewan told him during the filming of Snake in the Eagle's Shadow in 1978. Be Jackie Chan. Make mistakes. Fall down. Make it funny. Show your pain. It was revolutionary advice. Every martial arts film showed invincible heroes. Jackie would show a clumsy everyman who got hit, bled, made stupid mistakes, and somehow won anyway. He would combine Buster Keaton's physical comedy with legitimate kung fu. He would take real hits and show real consequences. Snake in the Eagle's Shadow exploded at the box office. Finally, Jackie had found his voice. Then came Drunken Master the same year, which turned him into Hong Kong's biggest star overnight. The blueprint was set. Comedy, incredible stunts, real danger, and a hero who felt human. But success came with a terrible price. To stay on top, Jackie had to keep raising the stakes. The broken body count began immediately. During The Young Master, 1980, Jackie wanted a final fight scene that would leave audiences breathless. He choreographed a sequence where his character gets beaten relentlessly, taking punishment that would kill an ordinary person. To make it realistic, Jackie took real hits. His co-star's strikes connected with full force. By the end of filming, Jackie had a dislocated shoulder and multiple cracked ribs. He didn't stop filming. Police Story, 1985, nearly killed him 3 separate times. The opening sequence involved Jackie sliding down a pole wrapped in electrical lights. The lights exploded as he descended, burning his hands and legs. He still has the scars. Later, he jumped from a building onto a moving bus, miscalculated, and nearly fell into traffic. The finale required jumping through sugar glass that was actually too thick and cut him badly enough to require stitches. The final fight scene in the shopping mall became legendary. Jackie crashed through real glass panels, fell from balconies onto hard floors, and allowed himself to be thrown through department store displays. Multiple stuntmen refused to do the scenes. Jackie did them himself, often in a single take because the destruction was so expensive. They couldn't afford to rebuild the sets. His then-wife, Feng Jai Lin, begged him to stop. His insurance company threatened to drop him. Directors told him he was being reckless. Jackie's response was always the same. The audience deserves the best. I can't ask someone else to do something I wouldn't do. But the real test was still coming. Yugoslavia, 1986. The Armor of God shoot was supposed to be his biggest international production yet. A globe-trotting adventure that would prove Jackie Chan could compete with Hollywood blockbusters. The castle jump was scheduled for the final week of filming. Just one more stunt, then they could wrap and go home. Jackie climbed the castle wall, checked the tree branch, and signaled he was ready. The branch had been tested. The landing zone was prepared. Everything should have been fine. The director called action. Jackie leaped. The branch snapped. In the hospital, surgeons discovered the bone fragment had pierced his brain. Emergency surgery took 8 hours. They removed the fragment, but had to leave part of his skull open, covering it with a plastic plate. The hole in his head would be permanent. His left ear lost partial hearing forever. Doctors said he might never walk properly again, let alone perform stunts. Jackie was in a coma for several days. When he woke, his first question was, "When can we finish filming?" The answer should have been never, but this was Jackie Chan. Against all medical advice, he returned to the set 6 weeks later. The hole in his skull was still healing. He had constant headaches and balance problems. But he finished the movie, performing additional stunts that terrified his crew. The film became a massive hit across Asia. From that moment, every subsequent project became a game of, what will Jackie do to himself next? Project A Part 2, 1987. He recreated the famous Buster Keaton building collapse scene, but added a twist. He let a real wall collapse on him, timing his position to avoid being crushed. One miscalculation would have meant death. They filmed it in one take. Dragons Forever, 1988. Jackie fought on a moving boat during a storm. He slipped, hit his head on a metal railing, and was knocked unconscious. The crew pulled him from the water barely breathing. He woke up in the hospital and asked to review the footage to see if they got the shot. Miracles, 1989. The famous rope slide scene through the streets of Hong Kong required Jackie to slide down a rope at high speed with no safety equipment. The friction burned through his gloves and severely damaged his hands. He completed the take before seeking medical attention. But the real question burning in everyone's mind was, why? Why would someone with money, fame, and success continue to risk death for entertainment? Psychologists studied him. Journalists asked repeatedly. His answer was always complex, layered, and never fully satisfying. Part of it was Master Yu's training. Pain was normal. Backing down from a challenge meant weakness. Jackie had been conditioned since childhood to push through any physical barrier. Part of it was pride. "I'm Jackie Chan" became not just a name but a promise. A promise that every movie would deliver something audiences had never seen. That promise required escalation. Each film had to be more dangerous than the last. Part of it was competition. By the late 1980s, Jean-Claude Van Damme and Sylvester Stallone were dominating action cinema with CGI and stunt doubles. Jackie saw that as cheating. He wanted audiences to know every punch, fall, and jump was real. It was his way of proving Asian cinema's superiority. But perhaps the deepest reason was trauma. The boy who was beaten daily, who learned that love meant pain, who survived by turning his body into a tool, that boy never left Jackie's psyche. The stunts were a way of proving he was still that indestructible child from the opera school. Every successful stunt said, "You couldn't break me then, and you can't break me now." Hollywood finally came calling in the 1990s, but it was a disaster. The Big Brawl, 1980, and The Cannonball Run, 1981, had been minor American productions, but they failed to make Jackie a star in the U.S. Hollywood executives didn't understand his style. They wanted him to be a serious action hero like Schwarzenegger, not a comedic acrobat. Years passed. Jackie became the biggest star in Asia while remaining unknown in America. It was a strange kind of fame, godlike in half the world, invisible in the other half. Then in 1995, Rumble in the Bronx broke through. American audiences finally saw what the rest of the world had been watching for decades. The film's success was moderate, but significant enough to get him noticed. Rush Hour, 1998, changed everything. Paired with comedian Chris Tucker, Jackie finally had the perfect American vehicle. The film made $244 million worldwide and turned Jackie into a global superstar at age 44. Suddenly, the man who'd been breaking bones for decades was a Hollywood A-lister, but even success in America came with blood. During Rush Hour, Jackie broke his ankle but continued filming. During Shanghai Noon, 2000, he was kicked in the throat and couldn't speak properly for weeks. During The Tuxedo, 2002, his hip was so badly damaged that he needed surgery but delayed it until filming wrapped. The list of injuries reads like a medical textbook. Skull fracture, Yugoslavia, 1986. Broken nose, 4 times. Various films. Cheekbone fracture, twice. Broken ankle, 3 times. Dislocated shoulder, 6 times. Broken ribs, countless times. Dislocated pelvis, Police Story 3, 1992. Spine injury, Armor of God 2, 1991. Broken fingers and toes, too many to count. 3rd and 4th degree burns, multiple occasions. Partial hearing loss, permanent. Left ear. Jackie has openly stated that almost every bone in his body has been broken at least once. His insurance premiums became so high that some films couldn't afford to cover him. Studios began writing Jackie Chan clauses into contracts that specifically limited what he was allowed to do. By the 2000s, the question shifted from "why does he do this?" to "when will he stop?" His body was failing. Chronic pain became his constant companion. He needed pain medication to sleep. His movements, once fluid and effortless, showed signs of age and accumulated damage. Younger actors and CGI technology were making his style of practical stunts seem outdated. Yet Jackie kept pushing. Chinese Zodiac, 2012, featured a 60-year-old man sliding down a building on a board, jumping between vehicles, and fighting in quicksand. Kung Fu Yoga, 2017, had him performing dangerous stunts at 63. Even The Foreigner, 2017, meant to be a more serious, dramatic role, included sequences where Jackie insisted on doing his own stunts. His son JC, in a rare interview, said, "My father doesn't know how to stop. I think he's afraid that if he stops, he'll disappear. That people will forget him. So he keeps breaking himself to stay remembered." The psychological cost may exceed the physical one. Jackie's personal life became a tabloid disaster. His marriage to Feng Jiao-lin remained intact publicly, but reports of affairs circulated constantly. In 1999, he admitted to an extramarital relationship that produced a daughter, Etta Ng. He has had virtually no relationship with her, a fact that has drawn massive criticism. His son JC was arrested in 2014 for marijuana possession in China. Jackie's response shocked many. He publicly stated JC should face the consequences and refused to use his influence to help. Father and son's relationship remains strained. Jackie has admitted in interviews, "I wasn't a good father. I wasn't a good husband. I was only good at being Jackie Chan on screen. That's the only role I knew how to play. The man who seemed indestructible in films was falling apart in life." His political statements supporting the Chinese government and criticizing Hong Kong protesters alienated fans. His comments about discipline and how Chinese people need to be controlled sparked international controversy. The hero who represented joy, humor, and triumph through adversity revealed himself to be deeply flawed, complex, and often contradictory. Today, at 70, Jackie Chan is still making movies. His body moves slower. The stunts are less extreme. CGI has crept into his films, something he once swore never to use. But he's still there, still performing, still trying to prove something to himself and the world. In his autobiography, he wrote, "I spent my whole life showing people I wasn't afraid of pain, but I was terrified of being ordinary." The stunts weren't about bravery. They were about fear. Fear of being forgotten. Fear of being just another person. "So I broke my body to stay special." The legacy is complicated. Jackie Chan revolutionized action cinema. He proved that martial arts films could be funny, emotional, and thrilling simultaneously. He influenced generations of filmmakers and performers. His dedication to practical effects and real stunts set a standard that few have matched. But he also normalized self-destruction as entertainment. He turned his body into a commodity, teaching audiences to expect real suffering for their amusement. He created an impossible standard that has injured countless stunt performers trying to match his recklessness. The hole in his skull remains. The plastic plate that covers his brain is permanent. He's deaf in one ear. His bones ache constantly. He's had more surgeries than he can count. He takes medication daily for chronic pain. Was it worth it? Jackie's answer has evolved over time. In his younger days, he would say yes without hesitation. Now, in his 70s, reflecting on broken relationships and a body that barely functions, his answer is more nuanced. "I gave audiences everything. I gave them my body, my blood, my bones. What I forgot to give was time to my family, attention to my soul, and rest to my heart. I became Jackie Chan completely." But Chan Kong sang, that small boy from Hong Kong, I don't know what happened to him. Maybe he died in the opera school. Maybe he died in Yugoslavia. Or maybe he's still in there, waiting for me to finally stop and rest. The cameras are still rolling. Jackie Chan is still falling. And somewhere deep inside, that 6-year-old boy is still trying to prove he's strong enough to survive whatever comes next.